Three types of victory. Victory over the enemies. I'm thinking I could get to the weapons, okay, provided for it. But if I'm not able, I'll just handle the victory. So let's just look at the victories that you must have in life. Number one, victories over what? Your enemies. Have it. The victory over your enemies comes when you understand who your enemies are and you make up your mind that it's God who will keep you in where you ought to be. Number two is victory over temptations. Victory over what? Temptation. Everyone needs to understand this. Because you have enemies and then you have temptations. Number two, victory over temptations. Now, a man who faced enough temptation in life is called who? Job. The book of Job demonstrated it. His suffering and his action and the things he went through. When you go through the whole book of Job, it's just victory over temptation. But I could just take one or two scriptures to open it up. Then let's look at the book of Job chapter 13 from verse 26. I trust God for revelation this morning. I don't think anyone's temptation has gotten to that of Job. But if God gave victory to Job over temptation, whatever it is today that you are passing through, I believe God for you that the same God is on the throne. You shall overcome that temptation in Jesus' name. Unlike victory over enemies, temptation is another level of pressure point. For you write bitter things against me and make me inherit iniquities of my youth. Now this is a man that was suffering already. He was already in enough what? Suffering. He was suffering enough. While he was suffering, men were busy writing bitter things against him and to make him to inherit even iniquity from his youth. They were accusing him, while the Bible told us something about him. And the Bible said in the book of Job chapter 1 from verse 1, watch how God had described him. This is God's description of Job. He said, there was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job. And that man was blameless and upright, and one who feared God and shunned evil. The Bible called him a blameless man. The Bible called him a man who shunned what? Evil. But yet, when temptation came, Job got accused. 3 of his friends, I'm not talking about what people in the streets were saying. I'm not talking about what his neighbors were doing. Are you following me? Of course, when all his son died, they will say, did we not tell you that Job is an evil man? Where did he get all that money from? That money, that guy is a worshiper of Satan. He can't be that rich without being involved in one thing. He has not told you the source of his money. Do you know that today, people who are making clean money, struggling day and night, in the morning they drive off, you don't know what they come in and when they sleep or whether they eat. People will not see you when you are suffering. But as soon as you make money, that man, they'll begin to call you names and accuse you of what you don't know. And I tell you today, if you are not careful through the temptation, you enter into trouble. Don't follow the devil because he's leading you out of destiny. Don't follow the devil. He wants to distract you for the coming glory. Don't follow the devil. He wants to put you back to the pit. And the Bible said, as soon as Job prayed for his friends, and his friends prayed for him, his recovery and his restoration started. Know it today. You can decide to reply your enemies, or you can decide to ignore them and allow God to reply them. The third victory is victory over your critics. Victory over your what? Critics. You know, let me say something. Victory over temptation Temptation is not your critics. Temptation is not your critics. Critical people can become a temptation. But there are those that have been born and the assignment is what? They will criticize you from beginning to the end. Jesus had enough of them. From the beginning of his ministry to the end of it, the Pharisees and the Sadducees. No matter whether he does good, they will criticize. If he heals people, they will find out, was it on a Sabbath? They will criticize. If the man that was healed is seen, they want to know. Go and bring your parents. Let us be sure. Was he born blind? A man that everybody knows that is paralyzed. The man is walking, carrying his mat. Instead of you to rejoice that a cripple is walking, they will still criticize. How come this man is carrying mat? How come he is walking? A man that have been lying by the pool 38 good years, and the man suddenly gets up and is walking, they will criticize. Wicked men. Will you not rejoice that a man that has suffered for 38 years, somebody helped him? You see people who are still criticizing. Can I say something to you? There's nobody in this world that will not be criticized. No matter what you do, people will still criticize you. The sooner you learn it, you will prepare for it. If you don't get used to being criticized, you will always have people that will make you sad. You have to have victory over what? Critics. When you have victory over critics, then you will be able to sustain your joy. The person that can criticize you the most may be even your wife or your husband. That one is the one that can be painful. Because when it comes from the one that you love or the one that you expect your love from, no matter the food you cook and you bring, the food will be what? Criticized. And the way to respond is what I'm interested in our sharing today. Even the children that you suffer to train, they will still turn around to join those that will do what? Criticize you. There are women who have done terrible things today just to save their children. Tomorrow, I tell you sincerely, if that woman doesn't understand that her soul is important, those same children will make heaven, and you are going to go to hell if you don't repent. People will criticize you no matter what you do. They will criticize you. They will criticize you, people. They will criticize. They will criticize. They will criticize. I discovered something. When you make up your mind to serve God, one thing you have to make up your mind is to take criticism. When I began ministry, the first time, as a matter of fact, you need to be criticized early in ministry and enough. You need to be accused. I discovered that why many churches fold up and why many pastors drop out and why many people are not into ministry is because they did not receive criticism early enough. And they were having good name. So when the bad name came, in short, it shook them, so they abandoned the work. You need to experience it early enough and young and enough. It should come enough so that your body and your life will become thick. You have made up your mind whether you want. As a matter of fact, I believe God will allow it to come and set it up for you. For you, early enough so that nothing will close the work. I see. If you know the number of churches that close every year, you know how many ministries that are shut down every year, you know how many pastors that give up their work every year because of this problem, because of this temptation I'm talking about. I'm talking about 3 areas of war victory. If you don't have victory over enemies, victory over temptation, victory over criticism, listen, your destiny, you will abandon it. I don't know why you abandoned it. And the enemy knows there are weapons. There are weapons. Maybe tomorrow we'll be looking at the weapons of victory. Because my time is almost taking up. I just want to talk to somebody this morning. And I need you, please connect. Please connect. These people were determined through their constant criticism and nagging to stop Jesus from his assignment. And it won't be different for anyone who is also following him. As long as you have made up your mind to serve God, criticism will be the first thing that will go with you. The Bible says plus persecution. That is one of the major weapons of persecution of a child of God. And if you don't understand it and you don't develop to have victory over it, you will struggle and you will abandon your part in destiny. Even in business, many high flyers, people who do very well in their offices, people who are excellent, they are often criticized. And if you are not ready for it, you will follow the mediocres. Why do they criticize? I too sabi. Even from primary school, if you're a bright student, your hand is always up. You are the one that will come early. You are the one that will be clean. You are the one that will sweep the class. You are the one that is doing the right thing. Instead of you to focus on what is lifting you, you want to go and join them because they are criticizing. You want to be friends with them. Before you know it, you will lose your figure. You will lose your destiny. Instead of you to focus on your goals, focus on being who you are. You go and fraternize with people who don't know where they are going. And before you know it, you end up like them. Listen, some of them have their own gifts, which you don't have. Some of them have their own strong point that have kept them. The little that you have is that your decent life. You are giving it up. When you don't know that when you give it up, you don't have the gifts that they have. Some of us, our gift is what we are about to give up. You want to give up your excellent spirit. You want to give up your focus with people that are distracted. I'm sorry for you in that office. Listen, there's some machine operators. They know that the only ones who can operate that machine. Even if their company want to fire them, they won't fire them. Because if they fire them, they have nobody that will operate. Such people are usually, they have attitude. You yourself, God is just keeping you there because you are seen to be honest. Then you start cheating with them. They will fire you. They will replace you. But that machine operator may not be easily replaced. Make up your mind. Make up your mind where you find yourself. Whether in ministry, whether in business, whether in factory, in anything that you are doing, be yourself. Don't like when they're calling you holy wedge. Then you will now go and join them. Be who God has called you. Don't be corrupted in this perverse generation. Don't be like them. Don't follow them. Be yourself. You are light. Don't allow their darkness shadow you. Don't be a part of that darkness. Because light is scarce now. Because they are criticizing you. Because you are a virgin. So you want to go and disvirgin yourself. So that you will now go and be like them. Those are the kind of girls that will get pregnant the first time they go. And they will catch an infection. Because you don't know the way. Those girls who started early, they know how to go about it. You go your own, you end up with abortion or you have a child. Be careful. Do not follow evil people. You are just a Jew man. Others are making money. You go and follow them. The first 419 you did, look at you landing in police station. Because you don't know how they start these things. You don't know how they come out of it. More of the people who are caught in crime are not the criminals. The real criminals, they know the smell of trouble. Because they are telling you, you are suffering. Come, let us show you the way. You followed them. Most times, they are the ones who end up being destroyed because they are not in that pattern of life. They are criticizing you. See how your father is suffering. See how your family is. Then you go and join them. Criticism have destroyed so many lives. By criticism, you can give up your identity. By criticism, you try to compromise. I was about to tell a story. I remember the first fellowship we gathered. First fellowship. First time I started my first outing. That was, I think something about 16 years ago. First fellowship we started. Or it was about 18 years ago, yes. The very, very first meeting. One lady just showed up with her bag. And you know when they showed up like that, they say they're available. You know when an agent comes, that they are always available. They're on assignment. Ask them what they do, nothing. They make themselves so available. They're just there for you. And they just change their status. They dress the way you want them to dress. Look the way you want them to look. And they know you. An agent studies you before they show up. Speak your language. And they always target to be a PA. They are ready to move in. They are ready to carry your bag. They're ready to be in and out with you. So they can get you in less than 1 week. Before I know it, this young girl was in my house, was my PA. But one thing I forgot, I told you when I started ministry, is that she will manifest from beginning of the meeting to the end. Maybe she was even angry on the fire that she was being baptized with. And she actually followed me up immediately. Instead of me to have at least thought, I was a young girl now. Which one do I know? If I know it, I had some international guests in my house. She entered them now because she's inside. And before I know it again, she was inside everybody. That's a fast way. And then, one day, I just came for the meeting. They began talking. Things I don't know. What I have never heard. What I can't even imagine. I don't even know where it came from. And then those that actually joined to criticize me then was my closest prayer partner. This one they call prayer partner. When you see me walking alone, it's experience. It was horrible. I didn't believe what I heard. You know what I did? I just closed the fellowship like that. That's how it ended. I just closed the gate and left. And the devil must have been happy. And they must have promoted the girl very, very well. And that's why today, some of us now have cancer skin. Why? You can't stop me. You can't stop me from serving God. Me? I'm serving God to the end. Talk what you like. You are telling yourself. You are criticizing yourself, not me. Don't even hear what they say. That's the point. There are levels of criticism you have heard. You just have cancer skin. Don't hear nothing pass your skin anymore. Because you must have got to know these things. They kill you. They make you nothing. At that time, I was just fresh, coming out of business. I had ego, I had personality, I had. By the time they finish with you, you have nothing. You lose reputation, you lose self-respect. Even they will accuse you so that you'll even begin to think you are guilty of what you did not do. That's the point here now. So when they have criticized you, you did not do it, and they have accused you and put this and that. After a self, even when you are walking self, you are even thinking self that they have said it already, because they will say it. After some time, the thing will just fade away. Over years again, you don't even know what they say and what they did not say. Because whatever they said, they did not say, it doesn't make any difference anymore. And so God needs to pass you through these crucibles of critics. If He passes you through the crucibles of critics, then your ministry will stand. They will bring up the scandals, they will bring up the accusations, they will bring up the abuse. You won't even hear them, that's the point. Because even those that will say it will not even be able to stand before you. That's the truth. Because a time comes, the angels and a guard is put around you. God surrounds you with His mercy. Some of them He will kill them before time, because He will not allow them to discourage His work or distract it. So when you see men who have been able to do much in ministry, when they call certain men generals, those men for battles. You're a general, bring your boots, let me see it. How can you be a general if you did not go to battles? It is the battles that you went to that gave you promotions and ranking. Without battles, there's no promotion. Somebody must have victory, but somebody must have fought battles. Have you gone through battles of enemies? It is the number of enemies that you have overcome. That is what will determine your ranking in the spirit. As a matter of fact, the more the enemies, the higher the ranking. Yes, so the more the temptations, when you go through temptations of marriage, temptation of children, temptation of this, the more you go through temptation, the higher your ranking. But then they critical, accuse. The more they do it, the more they. As a matter of fact, the step to promotion is the step for this. The victory in ministry, the victory in life, the victory of success depends on how you are able to overcome enemies, temptations, and those who criticize you. If you have not gone through them, reach a point that there are no longer things that you are afraid of. You will go down. Because the devil knows it, and he will bring in any of them at any time he wants you to abandon your mission field. Because he knows that if he brings up this one, you will run. But after you have gone through it, the Bible says concerning Jesus, after he had overcome his 3 temptations, what did they Bible say? Of course, angels will always come to comfort at Gethsemane. God will always send comfort. Even Elijah, after that terrible battle with the prophets of Baal, and then he took off running, angels came and made him coal of fire. They gave him bread and water. God will always come down. You cannot go through this evil and wickedness without God coming to feed you. So when people like us are fed by God, it is because of what we have gone through. God will comfort you if you have gone through something. For angels to start taking care of you and feeding you and watching over you, you must have fought battles that gave you ranks to live such angelic work.